So about 40 dB of RMS difference, yet the peak energy is equivalent in this track. Good afternoon, buddies and buddettes. So we all know that we split our music up with crossovers. And here I'm trying to film this god-awful screen. Anyway, so there's your bass, frequencies divided in a simple three-way. And the average of this peak is around minus 30. And here's your average mid-range, and forget that it's not really that accurate in the bass. Minus 30 to minus 40, and this sloping down here. And the general accepted principle is that there's not much energy in tweeters. And as we can see here, minus 50, minus 60. So your RMS is still quite low. Now, here's the thing that I've always ascribed to is you still need lots of wattage on your tweeters. And here's your bass frequencies here in a live waveform view. Here we're hitting minus 21s. And here is the mid-range in a live waveform view. As you can see, there's a lot of peak energy going up to 0. This is like a pretty hard dance track. And the bass frequencies here, the peaks are lower than the mid-range. Now here's the kicker. Remember I said tweeters need a lot of wattage or match the wattage of the rest of your system? Here are the peaks coming through the tweeter channel. So that's the kick drum, the exciting part of the kick drum that we all love. RMS, minus 50 to minus 60. RMS of the bass, minus 30. RMS of the mids, minus 40. Right? Same peak level. Like zeroing out this meter. This meter has 6 dB of gain on it. Let's take this meter down to 0 so that we're getting an actual waveform loop. I don't know why I had that on 6. But every waveform meter now is on 0. So this bass peak is not much. There's mid-range peaks up here at the minus 9. Tweeter peaks up to minus 6. There's more peak waveform energy in the tweeters, even though there's less RMS. So let that sink in for a little bit. And yeah, really interesting stuff. Just to add to this session, I put a second spectrum of the maximum, not just the average. So the maximums here in the mid-range are a bit higher than the bass, and the maximums in the tweeter not that much higher, but they're spread over a couple of octaves here, 3K, 6K, 12K, and yet I paused and zoomed in on these waveforms. Bass, still peak to peak, not very high. Mid-range, peak to peak, has a bit of the kick there, like I said, minus 9. And the tweeter channel, just a bit over minus 9, not as much as I thought, but as you can see, I'll unpause them. That is your bass mid-range tweeter. That tweeter looked a bit more when we zoomed out. See, it's stacked a bit higher when we zoomed out. And zoom out on the bass. Crazy. Alright, we'll try a few more different bits of music. So I found another example with a differently mastered track, and it's a bit more even, but as you can see, this track has more bass and maybe less kick mania, but still the bass line here goes up to minus 9. The mid-range is peaking over minus 9, and the tweeter track still has up to about minus 10, you could say, hitting a few minus 9s. And you see here, just for scale, see the height of the peaks on the kick channel are almost the same hard as the kicks on the bass channel. Bass, 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 mid-range, mid-range, tweeter, tweeter. So yeah, there's still tweeter energy as it equals the waveform of the bass. But here again, RMS down, minus 50, minus 60. Bass level, in this case, minus 20. So about 40 dB of RMS difference. Yet the peak energy is equivalent in this track.